Good evening, it's 8 o'clock. The top headlines tonight. The new law minister takes charge. Arjun Ram Meghwal. A shocker for Kiren Rijiju as he's dropped as law minister. The new minister will the signal that the government wants a new relationship with the judiciary. The new minister tells NDTV relations between the executive and the judiciary are cordial. Siddaramaiah is Chief Minister, DK Shivakumar is Deputy Chief Minister. A win-win for the Congress. A grand welcome for the Chief Minister, Deputy Chief Minister duo in Bengaluru. The deadlock broken late last night with Sonia Gandhi's intervention and a call to DK. Exclusive, NDTV has learned that the Chief Minister position will be reviewed after 2024. If DKS delivers Lok Sabha seats, he could get the Chief Minister post after 2024. The 17th Vande Bharat Express flagged off from Puri in Orissa to Howrah and Kolkata. The Prime Minister says 2 days India has left behind old ideas that technology is only for big cities. NDTV on board Orissa's first Vande Bharat train. 20% tax at source on credit card spend abroad. The government now puts out clarification saying the taxpayer can claim credit for TCS against income paid. The government says this is done in a bid to stop tax evasion, but the travel industry and frequent travellers object. The Supreme Court upholds a law allowing Jallikattu or bull taming in Tamil Nadu. The Supreme Court says this was declared part of culture by the Tamil Nadu government. The States Act was legally valid. PETA, an animal rights group, objects. The full details of Harry and Meghan's car chase. Paparazzi not aggressive, however, says a taxi driver who drove Harry and Meghan away from the site. And the latest from the Cannes Film Festival with an India pavilion up to showcase Indian cinema and lots more. Well, let's go across live to the action happening right now in Bengaluru, and it's all at the Congress office and, of course, for Siddaramaiah, who seems to have won this round, but there's lots more ahead. So, Shrija, first over to you, because for the Congress, this is win-win. They've got two strong leaders there as Chief Minister, Deputy Chief Minister. What's happening right now? Is there amongst Congress supporters a feeling of relief that is now celebration time after that deadlock?
Well, I'm coming to you outside of the Congress office, the Karnataka Congress office, and right behind this is the Indira Bhavan, where we see that the CLP meeting is currently underway. To give you a fair idea about, yes, you have quite a lot of Congress workers who have come in, who've joined here to show their support to basically both of these power weights. In case if you really want me to go across to some of them, we see that Mr. DK Shivakumar had put in a very, very strong fight for that Chief Minister's post. Are you happy that Mr. Siddaramaiah got the Chief Minister's post and DK Shivakumar, Deputy CM?
Both are the capable person to manage the CM post. Okay. But AICC will announce to Siddaramaiah. We'll go through Siddaramaiah.
I mean, he's retiring.
2.5 years. DK Shivakumar
Siddaramaiah sir, 2.5 years.
Okay, sir. That power sharing is not been made it very clear.
We are happy with both.
Okay, you're happy with both. In fact, they are saying they're happy with both being the chief ministers for the post. They don't really have a choice. But then again, there is no clarity as such which is coming from the top high command, which says, it's going to be a 50-50 basis. But what we do know very clearly is that Mr. Siddaramaiah will be made the chief minister of Karnataka, and DK Shivakumar will remain as the deputy chief minister. But also, as opposed to the Udaipur declaration, he will also keep the KPCC, the president post as well. So there's a lot of celebration out here. In fact, people have all come in to just meet and greet the two power weights. You have also the Congress office completely decked up with lights to show you have people waving their flags. So they're all happy with whatever as far as the high command has decided for now. But let's not forget Mr. DK Suresh, the brother of DK Shivakumar, also very, very clearly, categorically said that they are very unhappy. So how exactly things are going to pan out, only Karnataka people will have to wait and watch that out.
Right. Well, let's go across to Sunil, who's really broke that deadlock being over in the middle of the night. I think, Sunil, at about 3 in the morning was when you first flashed that news. But what's really interesting, and these are the exclusive details coming out, that we are saying Mr. Siddaramaiah as Chief Minister, but there's going to be a mid-term review, or not even a mid-term, a one-year review in May 2024, depending on Lok Sabha results. Sunil, what's the inside track on that?
Well, Sonia, it's actually a little bit early. I think Mr. Kharge really worked and burnt the midnight oil. I think around 2 o'clock or so, he was able to get some kind of commitment from Mr. DK Shivakumar, who was not relenting, and finally agreed. What we have been made to understand, though it's not written in stone, that the first 2.5 years will be for Mr. Siddaramaiah and the other 2.5 years for Mr. DK Shivakumar. Both will have to perform and ensure that the Congress, its tally at present is 1 in the Lok Sabha polls in 2019. It needs to ensure that the Congress emerges victorious in that 2024 Lok Sabha polls, and the Congress High Command will look at that performance, and then that power sharing agreement will be made public. So it's clearly something that the High Command will definitely have uppermost in their minds. Let's listen in to Mr. DK Shivakumar speaking to us on what helped him to break the ice. Agreed to the Congress President's decision. It must have been very difficult for you because you've toiled, worked. I've seen you in the state of Karnataka from the time when the Congress was decimated to bring it together. You know, after working hard, you always want that gain, and that is why you were extremely determined for that top post. How did you finally concede to this?
See, ultimately, for various reasons, suppose you think that we have not won the election, what would have been the position? So now we have won. We have to get the fruit out of it. So to get the fruit, it is not me alone. Lakhs and lakhs of workers have done their best, suffered, worked hard. So we'll have to look at their end also.
In terms of power sharing, sir, now that you know, we all know that both Mr. Siddaramaiah and you worked together in the campaign, but you all have had your differences. When you took over the party was completely down and out. How are you going to work together and allow this power sharing that takes place?
See, why are you just looking at, still you need, the work has to start, it has to start, at least you need about a week or something to start. Let it start. Let the process go on. Let us see the success story.
Last question, Mr. Siddaramaiah, and you have how are you going to work together and ensure that for the next 5 years, the Congress government will be stable? Because that's something that the people of Karnataka are really expecting, and that is why they gave the Congress a massive mandate.
Watch out for next 5 years and come back to me.
So there it is, that report card after the Lok Sabha elections, and the swearing in plan, a grand swearing in on the 20th, that's this Saturday in Bengaluru. But the big shocker also coming this morning, as a sudden announcement came that Kiren Rijiju had been dropped as Cabinet Minister for Law. Instead, Arjun Ram Meghwal, who was Minister of State, has been elevated to Minister of State independent charge of the Law Ministry.
In this increment and appraisal season, 2 of Mr. Modi's mantris received a surprise. A major promotion for Arjun Ram Meghwal, the Rajasthan veteran who was Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs, now the Law Minister holding the rank of Minister of State for Independent Charge, a first to happen for this portfolio in many decades. And in what is perceived as a demotion, Kiren Rijiju found himself shifted as the Minister of Earth Sciences. Since then, speculation is on as to what prompted this sudden rejig. The new law minister seems to be focusing on the job ahead.
देखिए न्यायपालिका और कार्यपालिका के संबंध मधुर रहे हैं, मधुर रहेंगे। संविधान के अनुसार ही रहते हैं, संविधान के अनुसार ही हम काम करते हैं।
आपकी प्रधानमंत्री जी से
सीमाएं तय कर रखी है संविधान
जी। Meghwal hails from Rajasthan that goes to polls later this year. He is an OBC leader and has maintained a low profile ever since he was inducted in the government. Up until now, his primary responsibility was to manage the proceedings in Parliament along with his seniors Prahlad Joshi and Piyush Goyal. Rijiju, while refusing to speak to the media, did put out a tweet thanking the Prime Minister for giving him the opportunity and the entire of the judiciary, including the CJI and all the judges of the Supreme Court, for ensuring the delivery of ease of justice. Rijiju's tenure has also been one of statements that may not have been well received. In a recent comment, he said few retired judges are part of an anti-India gang and are forcing the judiciary to play the role of an opposition party. This statement had created a furor in the law fraternity. Rijiju was also a very vocal critic of the collegium system of appointing judges. Listening to this statement of his.
दुनिया में कहीं भी जजेस अपने जो बिरादरी के उसको अपॉइंटमेंट नहीं करते हैं. जजेस अपॉइंट नहीं करते हैं. आज के समय में जो मैं देखता हूं और देश का कानून मंत्री होने के नाते मैं जो फील करता हूं कि आधा समय जजों का दिमाग और समय अगले जज किसको बनाना है उस पे ज्यादा खर्च हो रहे हैं.
The Modi government so far had just 2 ministers of state with independent charge. Jitendra Singh, who up until now held the Science and Technology and Earth Sciences portfolio, and Rao Jitendra Singh. Meghwal's elevation makes him the third. Constantly being at loggerheads with the Supreme Court judges did not go down well either with the government or the judicial fraternity. And just last month, even a big chunk of prominent lawyers in Delhi had turned against the minister. But so far, the BJP and the government is extremely tight-lipped on the reasons for this sudden switch. In New Delhi, Megha Prasad for NDTV.
Other big stories tonight. The Prime Minister has flagged off the 17th Vande Bharat Express. This one from Puri in Orissa to Howrah and Kolkata. It's Orissa's first Vande Bharat train.
ये वंदे भारत ट्रेन भारत ने अपने बलबूते ही बनाई है. एक समय था जब कोई नई टेक्नोलॉजी आती थी या नई सुविधा बनती थी तो वो दिल्ली या कुछ बड़े शहरों तक ही सीमित रह जाती थी. लेकिन आज का भारत इस पुरानी सोच को पीछे छोड़कर आगे बढ़ रहा है.
The latest Vande Bharat Express in India, the 17th. Modern, made in India, semi-high-speed train and Odisha's first. Pulling out of Puri, the Puri-Howrah Vande Bharat Express. And soon, racing through Odisha and West Bengal at 130 kilometers per hour. Impressed, Odisha's Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik asked for more Vande Bharat trains for Odisha.
Introduction of Vande Bharat train is one step closer towards our aspiration of bullet trains in India.
The railway minister said the train compares very well with trains abroad.
If you compare Vande Bharat train with all the world's best trains, parameter by parameter, Vande Bharat stands apart. So the whole world is today looking at India emerging as a technology exporter, not just technology importer but technology exporter in railways.
Not only is the Vande Bharat Express a semi-high-speed train, but also it's a comfortable, smooth ride even at speeds of 130. And with track upgradation on in several places, the speeds of the train are likely to increase. But that will not compromise on comfort or safety. The Vande Bharat Express is truly a manifestation of India's success when it comes to make in India. With camera person GD Shankar on board the Puri-Howrah Vande Bharat Express, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
Well, moving now to a very different aspect of travel, and this is about the huge furor caused by the announcement that there would be a tax cut at source on foreign credit card spend. What does it actually mean? That formal notification came out just last night. So, Priyanshi, why? I mean, this was in a sense announced in the budget, but suddenly there are all these questions being asked, the finance ministry sending out clarifications. Why was this actually needed, and what's it going to do? Is it going to make it more expensive?
Right, Sonia, let's explain the impact and what was the need for this move, because it sounds very complicated. Let's simplify the details for you. So essentially, you will have to pay a 20% tax on all international credit card transactions starting the 1st of July. Now, these transactions will be taxed at source as they now come under the RBI's Liberalized Remittance Scheme, or LRS. So naturally, this will make foreign trips and shopping via credit cards more expensive. Important to point out that this is only for credit card transactions. Now, the government says the main impact will only be on investment in assets such as real estate, bonds and stock payments outside India using credit cards and tour and travel packages. And because these transactions come under LRS now, any remittance of over $250,000 will need an approval from the Reserve Bank of India. Now, several travel companies and travelers have criticized this move while some welcomed it. India's second largest online travel agency, Ease My Trip, in a statement to us, said that this will make travelers opt for domestic travel instead of international travel. Now, let's also answer some of your important questions on this tax. The government has answered FAQs saying that this is not a final tax and a taxpayer can claim credit for this tax payment in the regular income tax filing or ITR filing. Experts also say that this tax won't be lost money for those who already pay an income tax, as they can adjust this tax for their tax liability for that financial year. But those who don't pay an income tax will be impacted. The second FAQ answer is that there will be no change in international educational and medical expenses. They were already attracting a 5% TCS above transactions over 7 lakh rupees, and that doesn't change. Next, why did the government really raise this tax? The Finance Ministry said that transactions above $250,000 are currently being made without approval via credit cards. It said that debit card transactions already attract this tax, and the move is aimed to remove that difference treatment between debit and credit cards. It also said that disproportionately high payments are being made when compared to disclosed incomes, which indicates tax evasion and money laundering. So these are the major reasons for the move, and the FAQs of course answered that it can be reclaimed, the credit can be reclaimed, and it doesn't affect medical expenses.
Right, and I'm sure CAs must be studying this closely because they're the only ones who are going to really be benefiting from this, Priyanshi. But thanks so much for that update. Meanwhile, the other news, the Supreme Court has upheld a law which allows what's called a bull taming festival in Tamil Nadu, saying that this has now been declared part of culture by the Tamil Nadu government and that the state's act is legally valid. Some animal rights groups have protested.
Jallikattu, the traditional sport of taming the bull, can continue in Tamil Nadu. Dismissing a bunch of pleas, a 5-judge constitution bench of the Supreme Court today upheld an ordinance by the Tamil Nadu government amending the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act, justifying the sport criticized by some for animal cruelty as part of the state's cultural heritage. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin called this a victory for the state's legal struggle.
It is an ancient, traditional, cultural, heroic game of the Tamil Nadu.
As many as 500 bull tamers and spectators have over decades been gored to death and maimed during the annual event that often draws big crowds. Critics have argued that the ancient sport of valor had turned into a nightmare for the bulls, with various forms of cruelty, including violence, intoxication, pulling them by tail, squeezing lemon in their eyes, and poking them with sharp rods to turn them ferocious. Judges took into account fresh regulations put in place to check animal cruelty, monitored by Animal Welfare Board, and said penal statutes should be followed. The top court had banned the sport in 2014.
There is no question of cruelty. See, I can say that the most pampered animals in Tamil Nadu is the Jallikattu bulls.
Animal lovers are disappointed. Peter India, one of the petitioners that's exploring legal options, has said the order has thrown the country to dark ages.
This has only taken us way back. It has put us in dark ages.
The Supreme Court would hope its orders would put an end to the culture versus cruelty debate around Jallikattu. While animal rights activists are exploring legal avenues, the fact is no political party establishment has dared to speak out against what's being seen as public sentiment. With Arvind Gunashekhar in Delhi and Edwin in Chennai, Sam Daniel, for NDTV.
A major relief for the makers of the film The Kerala Story, with the Supreme Court overturning the West Bengal government's ban on the movie. The Supreme Court said that statutory provisions cannot be used to put a premium on public intolerance. A bench headed by the Chief Justice said it is the duty of the state government to maintain law and order, as the film has been granted certification by the Central Board of Film Certification, adding that bad films bomb at the box office. Of course, Kerala Story is doing quite well at the box office meanwhile. Well, the other story trending internationally is the car chase, which Harry and Meghan's spokesperson has said could have turned into a catastrophe. They said that Harry and Meghan and her mother were chased by aggressive paparazzi, but the taxi in which Harry and Meghan finally escaped said that he didn't feel that they were aggressive at all.
Harry and Meghan Markle raised alarms about a near catastrophic, more than 2-hour paparazzi chase through Manhattan, drawing comparisons to Princess Diana's fatal 1997 crash. Even as cops and their taxi driver said the ordeal wasn't nearly as dramatic as the couple claimed. The couple, along with Meghan's mother, said they were followed for more than 2 hours by half a dozen vehicles with blacked out windows after leaving a charity event in New York.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
New York's mayor branded the incident as reckless and irresponsible.
I don't think there's many of us who don't recall how his mom died, and it would be horrific to lose an innocent bystander during a chase like this.
While the NYPD said the incident was under investigation, Sukhcharan Singh, the taxi driver who drove the couple, said the paparazzi were following them the whole time, but said he wouldn't call it a chase.
Did it feel like the paparazzi were being
aggressive? No.
You didn't see any cars going over curbs or people banging on
Oh,
your
I
window?
didn't see that. No, that must have happened earlier if they were being chased before on like 57, like Mayor Adam was saying, but not with me.
The chase comes amid Harry's lawsuits against British tabloids. The couple's spokesperson has emphasized that while being a public figure comes with a level of interest from the public, it should never come at the cost of anyone's safety. Parmeshwar Bava for NDTV.